Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advanced. This is the final game of the tiebreaks. After 3 games has been drawn and this is Nepo with the white pieces, so let's see how he's able to surprise the day. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Nepo starts with e4, we have e5, knight to f3, knight to c6 and bishop to b5. We go for the Rulo Lopez, we have a6, Morpheus defense, bishop to a4 and knight to f6. And Nepo just simply castles, we have bishop to e7 preparing castles and we have b3. And here, Ding goes for b5, pushing the bishop back, we have bishop to b3 and just d6. And now you have to challenge those queenside pawns. So we have a4 and now we have bishop to d7, just prolonging castles for a few moves. And after h3, not allowing bishop to g4, we have castles by Ding and bishop to e3. And Ding here goes for knight to a5, just attacking that bishop and ruining your pawn structure. And Nepo doesn't allow it. Nepo goes for bishop to a2 and we have b captures on a4 and after knight to c3, just rook to b8. And Nepo here goes for a very surprising move. He goes for this bishop to b8, blocking in his bishop, but maybe that bishop can come alive later in the game and will serve as a very nice attacker. And here Ding goes for queen to e8, just normal developing move and defending that a4 pawn as well. And we have b3. Ding just keeps on advancing and Ding just keeps on advancing on the queen side with c5. We have knight caps on a4 and knight to c6 and just knight back to c3 as knight on a4 was not doing very much, and just a5, knight to d2 and just bishop to e6. And now you know that d5 thrust is coming, so just knight to c4 and the immediate d5. And now we see captures, knight captures, and the best move for Nepo in this position is just to go for this knight captures on d5. And after bishop captures, just play this c3. Might seem like an odd move, pushing the base of your pawn chain, but it's the best move. And after queen to d8, just bishop to c2. And after rook to e8, just go for this f3. And after g6, you play bishop to f2. And now as there's nothing better, black will go for something like h5. You go for this rook to e1. And after queen to c7, now you go for this rook to e2. And after a move like bishop to f8, you'll go for this rook to a4. And after rook to e6, you go for this queen to a1, attacking that e5 pawn. And after rook to e8 defending, you go for this bishop to g3, not allowing any e4 thrust. So after a few moves into the future, you'll get this position where white is a little bit better, but not that much of an advantage. So instead, Nepo goes for this bishop to d2, but it does not work. And it throws away Nepo's advantage. And now here Ding goes for this knight caps on c3, and after bishop captures, just b captures. And after b captures, you can see that the bishop on b1 is just locked and it's not even a pawn. Now Nepo here gonna have to play very precisely if he has to win this game. So after bishop to d8, just bishop to d2 was played, as you have to play this c3 and d4 to make your bishop come alive somewhere in the future. So after bishop to c7, just c3 was played, and after f5, Ding knows that he is better, so he's definitely gonna start an attack. And after a move like rook to e1, the best move for Ding in this position was just to go for this immediate queen to g6. And after bishop to c1, you go for this rook f8. You don't want to have your queen under the mask of the rook, so after queen to e2, you go for this queen to f6. And after bishop to c2, you go for this e4. And now after we see a trade in the center with d captures, you don't recapture, but instead you go for this queen captures on c4, attacking both the rooks. And after rook to a3, attacking the queen, you go for this queen to b4. And after bishop to a4, you go for this knight to d4, attacking the queen. So passive square like f1, you go for this f captures. And after rook captures, just rook to f8. And game will go on with a move like rook to e7, and if anyone's to be preferred, it's definitely black. Look at this queen on f1, and these two rooks not even connected, so definitely white is going to have trouble defending this game. But Ding doesn't find all of this. Ding instead goes for this rook to d8, and Nepo just goes for rook to a2. This rook to a2 will serve as a very nice defender, as you'll see later in the game. And after queen to g6, just queen. And now Ding goes for the immediate queen to d6, just pushing this pawn and going for this checkmate. But Nepo, obviously foreseeing all of this, just goes for g3, not allowing any such ideas. And after rook to d8, just queen to f3, even allowing Ding to go for this e4. And Ding prematurely goes for this e4. That will actually not turn out well for him. After d captures and knight to e5, attacking the queen, Nepo has this very surprising move, which is queen to g2. Yes, it might seem like locking in your queen, but this queen will be very strong, because after knight to d3, you have to play this knight to d3 because this bishop will be very strong after this trade takes place. So after bishop captures, you have queen captures, and now the best move is just e captures. And after rook captures, just bishop captures. And now Ding does go for this queen captures on c4, and this best move for Nepo to gain an immediate advantage, even possibly a winning game, was just to go for this rook to d2. And after rook captures on f5, we go for this queen to c6, attacking that bishop. And now mostly what Ding would have thought of before playing this line and thinking that he could be winning in this game was just to go for this bishop captures on g6. So pause the video here and try to find the best move for Nepo in this position, which saves the game and not only gives him a winning advantage, but possibly a World Chess Championship. While I'll give you a couple of seconds. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move, and the move is the very simple rook to d8 check. And now you see the problem, because after king to f7, you have queen to e8 check, and after king to f6, you again go for this queen to c6 check, and after king to f7, you go for this very amazing f4. And this f4 move is definitely the star of the show, because after bishop captures on f4, you have again queen to e8 check, but now it's a little bit different story, because after king to f6, you have this bishop to h4 check. And now you cannot go for this bishop blocking because you get this rook to d6 check, and now it the only move is queen blocking, and after queen captures it will be checked. So instead what you will have to play is this rook to g5 blocking, but now you get this bishop captures, and after bishop captures just rook to d1, and after move like bishop to f4 you have to play this rook to e1, and after queen to f7 attack, trying to ask for a queen trade. Yes, black is up 2 pawns, but definitely white has sufficient compensation to win the game. Sadly, as it is, for Nepo, he does not find this move. Instead, he goes for this rook to e1 and he throws away all its advantage. Because after this, Nepo just goes for rook captures on f5, and now after bishop to d2, not allowing any bishop to g3 tactics to be available in the future, and after a move like h6, just queen to c6, going for that bishop, and after rook to f7 defending, now just a very nice rook to e1. King here just goes for this king to h7, and after bishop to e3, just bishop to e5. And after a move like queen to e8, or even sacrifice a whole pawn to go for the win, and after bishop captures, just rook to c1. And after rook to f6 and queen to d7, just queen to e2, not allowing any bishop to d2 ideas. And the best move that secures the draw for Nepo is just to go for this queen to d5, which exactly he goes for with queen to d5, but just bishop to b5. And now if you're a little bit greedy and you go for this bishop captures, you will immediately throw away the game, because after this you have this very spectacular bishop to e1. And it's not immediately lost, but definitely it's very much difficult to hold. So Nepo instead just went for queen to e4 check, and after king to g8, just queen to d5 check. And here everyone thought that Nepo will go for perpetual, and after king to h7, queen to e4 check. But surprising as it is, Ding just 1 minute on the clock went for this rook to g6. He wanted to fight for the win. Here what Nepo had to play was just to go for this h4. And after h5 you go for this rook to c2, and after queen to d1 check, you move the king away, king to h2, and after queen to g4, asking for a queen trade. Definitely don't want to allow the queen trade to happen because you have 2 pawns down. So after queen to d3, just king to g8, and after bishop caps on c5, and now you can trade down, because after rook to c6, just rook to c4, attacking the queen, and once the queen moves, you go for this queen captures. And after rook captures, you go for this bishop captures, and after a captures, just rook captures. And now if anyone who's pushing for a win here would definitely be white. But Nepo misses all of this, and Nepo instead went for this queen to f5, and now Ding is the one in the driver's seat, and Ding goes for this c4. And after h4, just queen to d3, and Nepo instead missed this queen to d3 move, and now there's not much hope for Nepo in this game, because after queen to f3, just rook to f6 was played, and after queen to g4, just c3. And those pawns are just looking too much difficult to hold for Nepo, because after rook to d1, attacking the queen, just queen to g6, asking for a queen trade, and after queen to c8, just rook to c6. And just queen to a8, and after rook to d6, we have a trade, rook captures, queen captures, and just queen to e4 check. And after queen blocks, just queen to c4 and queen to b1 check. And Nepo here went for king to h2, but just a4. And after bishop to d4, a3 was played, but this a3 is actually a blunder by Ding, but both players were down to 20 seconds on the clock, and the way to save this game for Nepo is again just to go for this h5. And now it's a little bit different story, because even after bishop to f8, just queen to f7, and after queen to e4, you go for this bishop captures on c3, and after queen to e7, just go for this queen to d5, and after queen to c5, now you have to trade. You might think like you have to trade, but you have this very spectacular queen to f7. After queen captures, you have queen captures, and even after a2, you have this queen to f5 check, and after king to h8, queen to f8 check, king to h7, queen to f5, you'll mostly see this perpetual. But sadly for Nepo could not find this move in time pressure, and he goes for this queen to c7, but now it's just very, very sad, because he had a better position most of this game, and he could be possibly winning, but he threw away the game by playing this move. And Nepo went for a few more moves after Ding played queen to g6, but just queen to c4, and after c2, just bishop to e3, and after bishop to e6, just king to g2, and after h5, just king to f1, bishop to e5, but just g4. Nepo trying something to win the game, but it's not going to be enough, because Ding just goes for h captures, and after h5, Ding just plays queen to f5, and after queen to d5, just g3, and after f4, just a2, and now it's impossible to stop the promotion. And if anyone was watching it live, it was definitely visible on Nepo's expressions. And Nepo just could not believe it, and Nepo just played queen captures on a2, but after bishop captures on f4, it was on this move, on move 68, that Nepomniachtchi resigned the game, and with that, Ding Liren became the world champion. And definitely kudos to Ding for playing it effortlessly until the last moment and not letting his guard down. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming up with the notification just stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thank you all.